Top free agents on offense coming up here on NFL Daily. Mitchell Renz, Chase Sr. ready to break it all down for you. The top guy on this list at wide receiver, it's Kenny Golladay. He's no doubt the number one receiver left here. Sure, he missed most of last season with some injuries, but when he's healthy, he's a legit number one receiver, Chase. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, interested to see where he goes. Teams like Chicago, teams like the Giants. Mitch, you throw out the Baltimore Ravens, which I think is the best fit for Kenny Golladay, all figure to factor into the equation here. The reason why he hasn't gotten a contract yet, it's because of the injuries that he suffered last year. We're talking foot, leg injuries. That's a little bit of a concern for a wide receiver, but you can't deny the talent when this guy is healthy.
All right, so the next receiver that's going to be coming up here is Antonio Brown, 5'10", 185. We'll see if he ends up going back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's obviously been a very successful player throughout his career, but he is coming off a Super Bowl win. He is also one of the top free agents out there on the market.
I think when it's all said and done, Antonio Brown is going to be a Hall of Famer. There was an 8-year stretch with Pittsburgh where he put up historic numbers. Now, he cost himself with Mitch's Raiders and with the New England Patriots. But it seems as though Antonio Brown has gotten things in order. A big reason for that, the Tom Brady effect. I mentioned Tom Brady, the best option for Antonio Brown. Go to the place where you had success. Go to the place that took a chance on you. Go to the culture fit where you can go in there, you can be welcomed with open arms, and you can still produce. You're not going to make the money that you had sought to make when you were a free agent a couple years ago that you wanted with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But veteran option, Antonio Brown, still an elite wide receiver.
T.Y. Hilton, also a top free agent out there at age 31. He's coming off one of his worst years in Indianapolis and back-to-back years under 800 receiving yards. So the question is this: is T.Y. Hilton washed up, or is it just a bad fit with him and Phillip Rivers last year, who really couldn't stretch the ball down the field? And that's ultimately what T.Y. Hilton was able to do. He's still out there on the market. I'm curious to see what type of contract he gets, considering the fact that Juju Smith-Schuster signed a one-year, $8 million deal. Will Fuller got a one-year, $10 million deal. We'll see what a guy like T.Y. Hilton ultimately ends up getting. Sammy Watkins, what exactly is going to happen with Sammy Watkins? Obviously a very talented wide receiver, but the dude is always hurt. And I get the fact that it's kind of crazy to say this, Chase. He's been in the NFL now for like 7 years, and he's still only 27 years old. So he does have a high ceiling, but needs to stay healthy.
That's the big issue. Can Sammy Watkins stay on the field? And history shows that Sammy Watkins, he's not readily available because he's always injured. Now, when he's on the field, he can be a dynamic element in any offense because he is a field vertical stretcher, but he's not going to demand big money, and I think this is going to be a later signing in free agency.
So let us know down in the comments section, which player are you shocked hasn't been signed yet? Because there's a lot of players out there, but obviously it's been a little bit of a weird year. There's no doubt about that. So go down in the comments and let me know, which player are you shocked hasn't signed yet? If one of these players do end up signing, we're going to be breaking everything down here on today's show. Seriously, smash that subscribe button. Non-stop updates all off season long around the top NFL free agents. If you're always wondering what the heck is going on around the NFL, if you enjoy live and interactive shows on YouTube, we're the #1 most watched YouTube channel out there for sports. Again, it's youtube.com/chatsportstv. Leonard Fournette, you're next up here, who is also looked at as a bruiser. I might actually disagree with you about what you said with Chris Carson, but
that's fine.
It's all good. Leonard Fournette is still a pretty solid running back. Played 13 games last season. Only started 3 of them because he split time with Ronald Jones. But the thing that I love, he's shown improvement as a pass catcher, 76 catches in 2019, and also was a little bit better. Does need to get better, though, at the goal line.
It's hilarious to me that people ripped Leonard Fournette when he was with Jacksonville, when in reality he rushed for 1,000 yards like 2 of his 3 seasons there. And last year we saw this guy has plenty of pop, plenty of gas left in the tank, because playoff Lenny, Lombardi Lenny, looked like one of the best running backs in the league last year during the playoffs and in that stretch run for Tampa Bay.
Yep.
And Antonio Brown and Leonard Fournette, I'm going to pair them together. Look, you're with Tampa Bay and you have a lot of success. Go back there because the scheme fit is there, the locker room fit is there, and I still think both of them can help Tampa Bay possibly repeat with back-to-back Lombardis.
Go down in the comment section right now. Shout out your favorite team, and I want you to name a player that they should go out and sign. We're going to be breaking down the top free agents who are left out on the market. This is also the video that's on the offensive side. If you want to go check out the defensive video, it's going to be coming out here in just a little bit. So shout out your favorite team, and I want you to name a player that you think they should sign. Former Pittsburgh Steelers running back James Conner, he's next up here on the list. Versatile running back, can run between the tackles and catch the football. I've loved James Conner for a long time. One of the best stories in all of sports as well. But the real value or question here is, what is actually his ultimate value?
One of the best stories because he beat cancer, and what a tremendous story. As far as his ultimate value, look, he's injured too much for me, so I'm not willing to take a chance on him, and I have a feeling that he's trying to get a solid salary. And for the player that he is, yeah, he might be versatile, but he's not available a lot. I mean, 161 carries last year for 721 yards. I'm just not in on James Conner because the injury issues just continue to pop up over the last couple of seasons. Yeah, no, I agree with you. And to answer your question, I don't think he's a bell cow running back.
Yeah.
I just don't think he has the physicality and that nature to his game. But as a guy who can kind of catch the ball out of the backfield a little bit, I do like Phillip Lindsay. I'm looking at a team to potentially offer him like $3-4 million, and I think that's what the market dictates, and I think that's what Phillip Lindsay ultimately gets.
So if you guys want to go give my man Chase a follow on Twitter, you can find his Twitter handle. It's down below, at Chase_senior. He is the only person here at Chat Sports that is verified. As you can tell, I'm definitely not bitter about it whatsoever. Offensive line, nope. Mike Davis here, the running back position. Definitely one of the better running backs and one of the cooler stories, if you will. Despite his 3.9 yards per carry last season, he was able to force 43 missed tackles, and I think he could be a solid RB2 option.
He could. Honestly, I think if Mike Davis says, hey, I will come into your team and I will play running back in short yardage and goal line situations. Heck, if I can increase my value by playing a little fullback as well, put me in there and slide me in. Mike Davis is an absolute tank. He's a huge dude, and if I was going to try to tackle him, I'd need a $50 super chat to do so because my ass would get run over and pummeled.
You need more than a $50 super chat, I can guarantee you that. You need some medical bills. You need some medical coverage. Luckily, you got that here at Chat Sports now.
For
But
sure.
28 years old, coming off a good year. I actually hope Mike Davis does get a pretty good contract. Le'Veon Bell is still one of the top free agents, at least out there on the market. Maybe it's because of overall name value. One time regarded as the best running back in the National Football League, decided to take a year off, then signed a big-time contract with the New York Jets, was ultimately let go, then signed with the Kansas City Chiefs. And I saw him last season. I think he lost a lot of his burst, but I do think there's going to be a team that gives him a contract based on the name.
Maybe as a second or third running back. I don't think he's going to get any guaranteed money. It's unfortunate how fast his career has gone downhill because when Le'Veon Bell was with the Pittsburgh Steelers,
Phenomenal.
he kind of started this movement, Mitch, of running backs who could line up in the slot, who could run in between the tackles, get to the perimeter. I mean, Pittsburgh lined him up all over the place, and then that marriage ended up in a divorce. He goes to New York, which your careers go to die. He did lose a lot of his speed, a lot of his athleticism, so I'm actually out on Le'Veon Bell.
So out of all the running backs that we just talked about, which running back is the best? Okay, like which guy do you think out there on the free agent market is the best? If there's somebody that we forgot, hey, let us know in the comments. I know some people are throwing down there Todd Gurley. I'm going to respectfully disagree with you, but go down in the comments. Let us know. Best free agent running back left. All right, first offensive line we're going to be bringing up here is Mitchell Schwartz, 6'5", 320 pounds, right tackle last season for the Kansas City Chiefs. He was injured, which is why they ultimately why they released him. If the back is okay and he's fully healthy, I still think that he's the top offensive tackle out there left.
A lot of physicality at that position, as we know, so the back concerns me a little bit. But prior to the back injury, he was a guy who played every single game for like several years. It was a really impressive stretch, and when he's right, one of the best tackles in the league.
Russell Okung, he played last season with the Carolina Panthers. Their top offensive tackle was Taylor Motton. Carolina decided to make that the top priority. They franchise tagged him. Another player, though, when he's healthy, he's good. But he played in only 7 games last year. He's 32 years old. I don't know how many teams are going to be looking for a 32-year-old banged-up offensive tackle.
Well, if he doesn't get a big contract, he's invested in Bitcoin, so he's safe financially. We talked about that a little bit yesterday. But an aging player at 33 years old. And, yeah, I mean, he played well at left tackle last year, but he is getting older now. I don't mean to be a hypocrite because tackles do tend to age well. I'm not sure if I'm going to put Russell Okung in that category, limited to 7 games last year due to injury.
Ricky Wagner's next up here on our list in terms of top NFL free agents on offense. He was let go by the Green Bay Packers. They decided to save about $6 million. I still think that Rick, when he is ultimately healthy and when he's playing, he can be a good option. And if you're an NFL team out there that believes that they're in a win-now window, I think that's where he ends up going.
Green Bay Packers offensive line got a lot of attention last year because of David Bakhtiari, who got a record-breaking contract prior to Trent Williams, and Corey Linsley at center. Ricky Wagner was a part of that group. So he can be a solid option for a team that's looking for an offensive lineman.
One of my favorite players in all of football is Alejandro Villanueva, who is not only just one of the biggest human beings I've actually ever seen in my entire life. He does so much for the community of Pittsburgh. He's done so much off the field as well, and he's a great left tackle, no doubt about that, as an above 74 PFF grade in 5 straight seasons, and this man hasn't missed a game in 6 seasons. It's probably because nobody can push him around the football field. He's tough as nails, went to college at Army. Sure, he allowed 3 sacks last year, but 6'9", 320 pounds. Good luck moving that guy.
So I met Karl Malone once, and not only was he about that tall, he was cut. He wasn't 320 pounds. This is a guy who in the pass game and in run game can be very productive, and the availability for me is huge. Hasn't missed a game in 6 seasons.
Wild.
That's unbelievable.
Next player we're bringing up here on NFL Daily by Chat Sports, and again, we are going through our top free agents on offense. It's guard, James Carpenter. He last season played with the Atlanta Falcons. 32 years old, gave up 3 sacks last year, 13 games played. We'll ultimately see where he ends up getting signed.
There are a lot of players who we're talking about on this offensive line list who are still available, who are good players, solid options, but the reason why they're still unsigned, they're all in their early 30s.
Lane Taylor's next up here on our video, 6'3", 324-pound, 31-year-old. The last 2 seasons, this guy has not been healthy whatsoever, but he is probably the number 1 dude out there where if you could tell me if he's going to play 16 games, he is one of the best offensive linemen in all of football. The issue is he can't stay healthy.
And I think because of the injuries, this is a player who might not get signed until training camp. If injuries happen with a respective team and they need some offensive line help and depth, Lane Taylor is a potential guy.
So go down in the comments and let us know. Get your votes in. Who's the best free agent offensive lineman left? We went through a bunch of names there. I know a lot of y'all might be throwing in for Alejandro Villanueva, but go down in the comments. Let me know. Best free agent offensive lineman left.